Hi, I'm Brett Dupree, your champion of authentic joy, here to review Amanda Palmer's The Art of Asking, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Let People Help. Obviously, by the way I had to read that off my phone, I never heard of Amanda Palmer before. I didn't know about the controversy that she was part of. I knew none of it. I never listened to any of her music. I didn't know she was a musician. And what I'm reviewing today is her audiobook from Audible.com. I'm going to break down my review in 3 parts. Number 1, why I enjoyed. 2, stuff that's meh. And 3, just stuff to walk away with and a final conclusion. Who I recommend it for. Number 1, I loved her vulnerability. She was extremely vulnerable in this audiobook. I loved the stories she told. The way she told her stories, you can tell she put a lot of her heart and her soul in this audiobook. It truly comes through her voice that she truly cares what she's saying. She does an amazing job of conveying her vulnerability to that. And her stories, too. Her stories are captivating. I absolutely love her stories. I generally listen to audiobooks to and from places where I'm driving or when I'm on the bus somewhere. And many times while listening to this 11-hour audiobook, I would get to a point where I was at my destination and I wouldn't want to stop. I was kind of disappointed that I got to where I wanted to go. It was just so well done, and the way it was done with the music and the way she read it, and in between there'd be her singing her songs, and I never heard of any. So it was interesting listening to her music, and it just made for a really interesting listen. It did not feel like 11 hours. In fact, I wanted to make this review when I was finished with the audiobook. But part of me is very disappointed that I'm done because I wouldn't mind listening to another 11 hours of her talking and of her story. It is that captivating. And finally, as a heart-based entrepreneur myself, she gave an amazing example of what it means to be heart-centered, to make a connection with the people you're trying to serve. And if you are a heart-based entrepreneur, or you are a musician, which is pretty much the same thing, the way she talks to her fans, the way she loves her fans, the way she wants to take care of her fans so they can take care of her, as if you give someone something they like and you love them as you're doing it, that they'll end up taking care of you, and you can build kind of a family, a community around you of people who love you and are willing to support you. And she does an amazing job of telling her story on how she did that through social media and through her shows and as her time as a statue. Things that were kind of meh. Number 1, she cusses. If you're the type of person who doesn't like cussing, which I know you're out there, which is one reason why I try not to cuss, is she doesn't. She does. So if you are really annoyed by cussing, this is not the... it's not like she cusses up a storm, but she does cuss, and if cussing just takes you out of it, it's not for you. Also, she doesn't really give a how-to. As someone who likes lists and things to try, I have to gather them by her example rather than her saying, the first thing to try is this, the second thing to try is this, third thing to try is that. That's a little nitpicky, as learning by example and through story is the way we learn through time. But at the same time, that is something that I do enjoy. Overall, I absolutely love this audiobook. It is one of the best audiobooks I have listened to. In fact, generally with audiobooks, I have ones that I don't like, of course, then ones that I like, yeah, they're good. Ones that I really like, that are like, yeah, that was totally worth it, I gained something from that. And the ones I absolutely love, that I go back to over and over and over again, at least once a year or once every 2 years, or I decide to listen to it again. And this one is definitely going in my rotation of audiobooks that I listen to multiple times. The people who I recommend this audiobook to are, number 1, anyone who's working on vulnerability. If you are a fan of Brené Brown, who is how I found this book, because I was looking through Brené Brown's new book on Audible, and then I noticed she did the foreword to this book, and since it's about the art of asking, which is something else that I'm very interested in, That's why I decided to pick this book up. So if you are a fan of Brene Brown or are working on being vulnerable yourself and want an example of someone who is vulnerable and what it looks like and what it feels like, this book is definitely for you. Number 2, if you're a musician or a heart-based entrepreneur. If you're one of those things if you're one of those people who want to connect with your audience, you want a good example on how to do it, Amanda Palmer sets up an amazing example of how to connect with your audience through social media and your live events. Overall, I absolutely love this book. I highly suggest you get it. I'll put links below how to get it through Audible, since that's what I'm reviewing in the audiobook. Also, just saying, my book's also on Audible. Joyous Expansion, How to Unleash Your Passion to Lead an Inspired Life. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you know anyone who can benefit from this book, please share this video as a way to promote them to get the book. And leave a comment if you listen to the book and what you think about it. This has been Brett Dupree, your champion of authentic joy, with another Joyous Expansion review. Have an amazing day.
JoyousExpansion.com. JoyousExpansion.com. Come and say hello to Brett Dupree. He is an inspirational life coach, good for you and good for me. He turned my life from grey to blue, I'm sure he'll do the same for you. Get in touch and you'll see your life will change dramatically. JoyousExpansion.com. JoyousExpansion.com. Yeah.